Hi, welcome to another keyboard video, and in this video I'm going to be just talking about the left hand chord area of the keyboard, and it's particularly aimed at beginner keyboard players who are just getting started, and it doesn't really apply to a particular keyboard. It doesn't matter whether you've got a Yamaha or a Casio or a Korg or a Roland keyboard. We're going to be looking at a little bit of music theory along the way. So the left-hand area of any keyboard is assigned to producing the accompaniment patterns or rhythms or styles that are built into your keyboard. And when you're starting out on the keyboard, you'll find that there's an area, usually about an octave and a half. You might even be able to select the split point where the right hand can play melodies and then the rest of the keyboard can be just for the accompaniment. So on the Casio that I've got set up here, there's middle C on the keyboard, the one right in the middle of the keyboard, and if I keep going, when we get to here there's a little split. So this is for the right hand or melody area here, and once I get to here we're into chord territory. The other thing that will spring to mind is whether to play single finger chords or fingered chords. Single fingers just means most of the time just using a single finger. So if I play a C, it produces the chord of C. Although on the display up in the corner I'm actually only playing one note, the keyboard is creating all the other notes. If I play a G, again the keyboard will generate all the other notes that you can hear. The problem comes when we perhaps want to play a minor chord. So let's say I want this A to actually be a minor chord. Then I've actually got to play the third of the chord, the minor third, in order to create the A minor chord sound for the keyboard. So we're already sort of starting, although that's still classed as single finger, it's really the beginnings of fingered chord playing. So it's probably better if you're starting out to start straight away with using fingered chords. And a lot of the tutor books or teachers will tell you to find the second C here and use that as a kind of middle of the area of the accompaniment as a kind of anchor point. So find your middle C and start by putting a second finger, that's your index finger, on the C, and then your other fingers are in a position to play a lot of the other notes just without moving very far away from this middle C. So if I want the chord of C using fingered chords, I will actually play three notes. A C, which is this note here, I'll be playing an E, and I'll be playing a G. Playing them all together gives me the chord of C. And then when I want to switch to an F chord, I keep my finger over that C. And these three notes, the F here and the A plus the C, gives me the chord of F. If I want to play a G, although I'm not using my second finger on the C, it's still sort of above the key here. We've now got G, B and D, giving us the sound of a G chord. Okay, notice that when I play some of these chords, above here, the graphic displays the chord that I'm playing. And this is actually called a C/G. And what that means is that the G is the lowest note, usually played by my little finger. It's a chord of C, but we've moved the notes around so that G is at the bottom. If I play the F chord, this is F/A or F over A, and again the A is at the bottom of the chord. As far as the keyboard's concerned, it doesn't matter whether you play an F chord like this, or if you play a C chord like this, or even this. It's still producing the same sound. In terms of music theory, this is called an inversion. So if I have the notes close together like this, and C is at the bottom, this is called root position. If I now take this C at the bottom and move it up one octave to here, now the E is at the bottom, and the chord is showing you C over E, and this is called first inversion. If I take that E now and move it over to the E up here, the G is now at the bottom, so the chord is C over G. This is called second inversion. So C in root position, C in first inversion, C in second inversion. And as far as the keyboard is concerned, it doesn't matter which inversion that you play. You can just play the one that's most comfortable. What you want to try to avoid is moving around your hand too much. That's why it's a good idea to keep this middle C here, or rather this second C from the bottom, as a bit of an anchor point for finding your chords. So I hope that helps when you're playing the keyboard. Just one other thing to mention when you're starting out on the keyboard is to try and have your hand slightly curved fingers, because then that makes the fingers almost, with the exception of the thumb, they almost form a single line. If your fingers are too stretched out like this, it's quite hard to control the keys. So kind of bend your fingers over. Imagine maybe there's a little tennis ball underneath the palm of your hand, and it makes it much easier to actually play the notes on the keyboard. So I hope that's helped if you're starting out on the keyboard with your fingered chords. Thanks for watching.